everyone, my name is Deja, and thank you so much for joining us for the launch of the Black Business Playbook webinar series. This series serves as a knowledge bank for Black and minority small business owners to learn essential business strategy skills. In this series, we will learn from industry experts who share best practices in all areas of business, including finance, sales, marketing, HR, legal, and more. I'm so excited for you to hear from today's presenter, Edith Duran. Edith is an accomplished market and digital marketing strategist. In today's presentation, Edith will share a roadmap of website planning from the structure to the design stage and how these tie into your overall business strategy. Let's get into today's presentation.
Hi, welcome to my webinar, Website Planning, one of the Black Business Playbook webinar series. And today we'll be talking about website basics, creating high converting websites, and creating a website that fits your business. So let's get started. So I will be your presenter today. My name is Edith Duran. I'm an online marketing strategist and UCF graduate. I'm originally from Los Angeles, but I've been in Florida long enough to say I'm a Knight through and through. I own a marketing agency, Redesign Marketing, based out of DeLand, Florida. But of course, being digital, we can serve all over. And I've been working on websites and planning websites since 2010. I can't see myself doing anything different. What I really like most is learning about new industries and working with different business owners. Strategy and planning and improving online presence is my specialty area. I love working with people to help them develop their online presence, the whole purpose of it, the intention behind it, and really marry that with their business model to gain the most out of their marketing. It's very empowering to know how your marketing is working for you and how it's not. So that's what I like to do. And today I want to express to you how important it is to plan the creation of your new website. Whether it be a redesign or a brand new website, your first one for your business, it takes a lot of planning and thinking through to create a high converting website. And what I mean by a high converting website is you want your website, after you launch it, for as many people to find it, for as many people to sign up for your email, your workshops, your events, whatever it is that the purpose behind it. But you want that follow through to happen. And that's what I want to talk to you about today and help you through those steps to give you that path to that website of your vision. So some things that you want to ask yourself, write down, keep notes somewhere, maybe keep a journal for your website planning, is first start, what can you expect to gain from having a new website? What are those expectations you have? And then how much should you invest? What's a reasonable budget for you for this initial phase, initial part of your website? Your website should never be a one and done project. It's not a set it and forget it type of marketing tool. It's going to need continuous attention, and it will eventually become an essential part of your business operations, because it is a customer service tool. It is an informational hub for customers that are not talking to you face to face. So with that said, it's going to need continuous improvement, but really think about how much you can afford to invest in this first phase of the project, and then you can improve it from there. And we'll get into more of those details a little bit further into the presentation. And then you want to think about what kind of website do you need. So does it need to be e-commerce? And I can tell you right now, an e-commerce site is going to be a little more complex to develop, but if you're completely based on online and online sales, then you're going to need some type of e-commerce website. Or do you have a brick and mortar business and would like the ability to eventually get into e-commerce? So those are the things that you want to consider is what you absolutely need for this website to have. And then what type of content should you have? And a little bit further in the presentation, I will tell you how to create that perfect content for converting your users into customers or leads. Should you do it yourself or hire someone to do it for you? Now that question right there can be so overwhelming because you have so many options out there to do it yourself, but a lot of us lack the skills to create a website ourselves. So then you start to want to look at hiring somebody to help you do it. And those costs can vary from very little to very much. So I'm going to just give you a few tips to consider when you're deciding on this part. So first, let's cover some website basics. You've probably heard about all of these terms in the past, but I just want to break it down for you so you can include it all into your planning. You will need to decide on your website hosting. Now, hosting is like monthly rent for space on the internet. So you have to keep up with your hosting and pay that every month or however you work that out, that plan, in order for your website to stay live. If you don't pay for hosting, what's going to happen is your website will go down. So that's hosting, that's a separate fee. If you have somebody helping you with the website, they can walk you through all of that. Now, how do you decide on the right hosting plan for your website? Well, then you have to consider what is in your website. So that's the difference. So when I say website, we're talking about what is contained within the site. So an analogy would be like the hosting is like the land your house is on, and a website is all the furniture and everything that goes inside your house. So website is the pictures you have on there, any videos you may have, the files you might have, the content you have, if there's a portfolio. So those are all things contained within your website. You should have total control over those and switching that out. Depending on the website platform that you decide on, some are easier to manage than others. This day and age, really, every website should be easy to manage and update. So when planning your website, make sure to ask about how easy it is or research how easy it is to swap out pictures, update content, those simple things that you need to stay ahead of for your website to continue to be relevant. And then you need to decide on your domain name. Your domain name or your URL is that unique address used to find your website. Everybody has a unique URL. And when you're deciding on this URL, in the past, you may have heard for search engine optimization reasons, you may pick something that's more possibly keyword driven, like includes geographical location. For example, if the name of your company, if your fence company, it's J&J Fence Company. But then because you're trying to go after the search engine optimization in Orlando, you decide to buy the URL Orlando Fence Company. Now, the reason for that is because some people may search through keywords like Orlando Fence Company to find a fence company. And you assume that that's going to raise you to the top because it's searched more. Well, what will happen though is if someone knows the name of your company is J&J Fence Company, they're going to search for J&J Fence Company. When they see the mismatch of J&J Fence Company and Orlando Fence Company, it's confusing. Now remember, these are people that are not in front of you. You're relying on the information in front of them for them to make that next step and contact you. So you don't want to put anything out there that would be confusing. to that person, especially if they don't have any kind of relationship with you. Something like that, like a URL that is very different from the name of the company, could throw people off. It would be some sort of red flag. So just be careful with that. My recommendation is to get a URL or just the domain name, which is the same thing, that best matches your company, because that will be easier to remember and associate with your company. It starts to become a unified brand. So one of the first things you want to ask when you're creating your new website is, what's your reason for wanting this new website? Your website needs to have a purpose, and the purpose needs to be clear. If it isn't, what'll happen is you're going to spend all of this time and money and frustration creating a site that is not going to convert. It's not going to convert. People are not going to do what you want on there because the information on there will be vague. It'll sound incomplete. It won't have a clear direction. So really think about the purpose for this website and what it is that you're trying to accomplish in investing in a new site. If you have a clear purpose, then the rest of your vision and the rest of the tasks that go into creating this site will work. It'll all come together. Without that vision in the beginning, it'll just sit there until that vision comes to you. And by then, you may want to completely redesign the site because now you actually know what you want from it. So part of your assignment, part of your planning, you want to write down, why do you want this website? And do you really have a clear purpose for your new website? So is it a new website or a redesign? Some reasons that someone may want a new website is they're new to business, or they just haven't established an online presence yet. And look at the times we're in. Everybody is using the internet. We're not interacting with people as much as we used to. So if you don't have an online presence, you want to make sure to create one. But you also want to make sure you're creating one with a clear purpose and a clear path on what you want people to do when they see your name, see your business, and are looking for that type of service. So yes, you should establish an online presence, but really think about what that presence ought to be that makes sense for your brand and your business. Or maybe you need a way to capture potential leads, or for customers to reach you online. Or maybe you just need to create some content that attracts traffic to your website and builds awareness of what you're doing, your expertise. And you need a hub, you need a spot to keep this content so that, again, you have control over it. You can update it. You can take it down if you want to. You can replace it. So those are all reasons to have a new website. But you always want to go back to your why. And although you have reasons, you also want to have a goal. What's the ultimate goal? And if you're going to redesign your current website, it's a very similar process. What's your reasoning for redesigning the website? Is it because it's outdated? Well, if it's outdated, what does outdated look like to you? Is it not structured properly? But if that's the case, then is there something that's part of the website now that you want to make sure you don't take away? Another reason to redesign it is it doesn't fit with your new or current business model or brand. Maybe you're going in a different direction and you want your website to be more representative of the direction that you're going with the content and images. So does your website require an entire redesign, or is it just a matter of updating content and images? So all things to consider. You do want, if you're going to rebrand, you want something fresh looking. But what does that look like to you in the end? Or maybe the text just needs to be redone, and you could get the help of a copywriter to do it if you have in your mind what it is you want it to say instead of what it's currently saying. Make sure to get all of that planning down, those points down, even if you don't have everything word for word what you want to say next. You want to at least have those primary key points so that it translates into the redesign of your new site. And if it doesn't function correctly, like forms aren't working right, or maybe you don't have access to it, that's another good reason to redesign your website. But again, you want to have a vision for the new site. Probably take what you have now and what does updating it look like? So another question you may have is, should you hire an expert or do this yourself? Something to consider whenever you're going into the project of designing a new site or building your first brand new one is, these are the main roles that play into the new website process. There's the web director. The web director is like the project manager of the site, managing all of the tasks in the order that they should be coming in. When should you be bringing in the content creator? When should you be bringing in the additional elements like calendars and registration forms? How many products does this first website need to, or this initial launch need to be able to hold? So your web director will be forming the answers to those questions so that the creative director has that direction and can put it all together with design and the goals that you're trying to accomplish. So remember, a website is so much more than like an informational brochure. This is an interactive machine, if you will. So all the pieces need to work together and they need to look right and the design needs to flow. And then there's the content creator. So the content creator is considering the audience, taking maybe old content or just promotional material, but really getting more specific into the needs of the audience or the users. So if you're going to hire an expert or an agency, you get all of those with that hire. But of course, that's going to be more expensive. And if that's not in your budget, then doing it yourself could be an option. Just remember that these are the different roles that you're going to be taking on. So give yourself that block of time to do web director tasks, another block of time to do creative tasks and think about design and images and color palettes, so that you can start to really piece it together. And then give yourself another block of time to be the content creator, where all you're thinking about is the text, the content or videos or whatever informational material you're going to want to have on your website that's going to relate to the users that come to the website when they're trying to find out more information from you. That's what the content creator does. So get in your content mode. Make sure that you can get into your content mode. Or maybe you're going to do it yourself, but get a little bit of help. Then you still want to take on the web director role, even if you're going to hire out a copywriter or a graphic designer to help you with the design. So just remember these roles when deciding if you're going to hire an agency or do it yourself. And even if you hire an agency, you want to make sure that they're on the same page as you, so you end up with the website that you have in mind. So still go through the steps of planning it out, even if you're going to hire the project out, so that it clearly is the vision that you have for your website. Now, again, I'm sure you've all heard this before. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And website planning is in that same ballpark, you want to plan all of these steps out and consider all of these different areas that go into creating your new site. What's your initial budget? I mentioned that before, but that is really important to understand that you need to budget this into your business expenses. It's an investment. But what can you afford to put into this initial investment that's going to be online and that you're going to need people to come to? It also will depend on how big a part your website is going to be playing in your business. Now, the more you invest into it, the bigger it should play in your business. Again, this is like a customer service tool. So you can really consider your initial budget. How will you appeal to your potential visitors? This takes a real understanding of the needs of your users. Understand your customers and where they're at and what they're looking for right before they find a service or product like the one you're offering. Because this helps you create that content that will help them convert, either by becoming a lead, sharing their information with you, or actually making a purchase or making a call to you. So you really need to consider how you're going to appeal to those potential customers and visitors. And what do you want people to do on your website? What's the abilities that you want to give them when they come to your website? Those are called CTAs, calls to action. So is it you want them to fill out a form? You want them to sign up for your email? Do you want them to download something? Do you want them to buy something? So really write down what all those CTAs are. And also considering your audience and the buying phase that they might be in, you want to have different calls to action, because not everybody that comes to your site is going to be ready to take action as far as doing business with you. That doesn't mean that they may not be willing to share their information with you if they've made that kind of connection with the information that you've provided. So what are those calls to action that you want? What's that final goal that you want people to take when they come to your website? And really plan this foundation. What's the vision for your website? I know I've said that before, but again, I want you to write this down, put it down somewhere, whatever that is, if that's a document, or because once you write it down, you can really see it. You can really see all of these elements coming together, and it really becomes more fun to work on a project like this instead of being overwhelming with all of these questions that you may not have the answers to. Because if you have a vision, then you can start chipping away at that and researching the different areas that are going to create the vision that you want. Because this website really should be a website that can grow alongside your business. So what does the future of this website look like for you? How, once you start increasing your customer base, what else can your website do for you? So here's just some assessment questions. If you're just starting on your website planning, I suggest starting like this with these questions and then planning out the rest. Take all this information that we're talking about today and just keep it together in one place. First, what is the name of your business? This is the umbrella of all of it. What's your business about? Okay, what is your elevator pitch, and how do you want your elevator pitch to come across on your website? What's the main thing you want people to do when they visit your site? What are those primary actions? Or what is it that you want them to find? Maybe it's not an action, maybe it's a calendar that you have and you want them to easily find your calendar of events. So those are all important questions to ask yourself, because the answers will start to lead to what you should have like on your homepage, what you should have on somewhere else. Sorry, I think I almost dropped something. And then what is it you want to achieve with your website? Is there a revenue goal with your website? Are you recruiting people through your website? So what are those goals that you want to accomplish? Because the answers to those questions will start to tell you, okay, once my website is launched, if I'm trying to recruit people, then I need to find places to cross promote, so I get visibility from other sites and other audiences. So think about what you want to achieve, and then once your website is done, that question will still be out there, and you can find strategic methods to reach those final goals. And then relate your website to your everyday operations. So when those actions happen, if someone submits an inquiry online, or they call you, like what are you doing with that contact information? What's going to be the process when someone completes that action that you want them to do? When they buy off your website, what's the next step? As far as shipping, do you contact them somehow with an email or maybe a postcard, however you want to do it, to see how their process was? Like what are those, what's that funnel going to look like for you? Really think about your target audience, because after all, they are the ones that are going to be mainly using this website. You're creating it, you're investing in it, you have the vision behind it. This vision is all for your target audience. That's who will be using this. And to really hone down and identify who your target audience is, you could start by thinking about your target market. Your target market is just simply a segment of the population where all you're considering is gender, age, income level, just generic, the most general factors of the demographics. So, and then the target audience is a segment that's even more specific within the market that you're targeting. So for example, say your target market is women over 45 that make at least $50,000 a year and are self-employed. So that is your market. And perhaps your audience is women over 45 that are that own their own business, make $50,000 a year, and are struggling with work-life balance. Then you can really start to get into what those struggles could be for this type of person. So when they come to your site, you can have blog posts written just for this type of audience. You can have products that are just for providing solutions for this type of audience. So you can see the difference between having the market and then drilling down to that specific audience. So when you're building a customer persona, so a customer persona is just, if you're thinking of just that one person that's within your ideal target audience, then you want to consider what they're like. What is that person like? What phase in their life are they in? So ask yourself some of these questions when building that customer persona. Who's your current customers? Who are those ideal people that you like to do business with? They're the ones that you click with the most, are happiest with the service or product, and you want more of those. How old are they? Where are they from? How much do they earn? Are they single or married? What are their jobs and hobbies? And then you want to take that a little further and really think about their struggles, because their struggles is why they need a solution. So here's an example of building a customer persona. So this is a customer persona that I did for a life coach client. And this is her ideal client. And this is just a picture I pulled off the internet. There's no actual person named Lucy. These are just some facts, and we put them together to create this persona, so that when she's working on content or I'm working on design to help her, then we're both on the same page and looking at the same needs and looking at the same struggles and offering the right solutions, wording it in the best way that we can think of, so that those headlines really resonate with somebody like Lucy. And all you do is you want to identify what's important to your customer persona. What are some characteristics that you often see? And then decide, okay, what type of marketing is going to resonate with this type of person, with this customer persona, that really will start to build your content. Because if you start to write content and just write content, you're going to get stuck. What am I supposed to say? What does anybody want to hear? I don't know what to put down. But when you really start to consider your customer and their struggles, those ideas will start coming to you, and you'll have a flood of ideas. And not only that, then you'll know maybe forums that your ideal customers are in, and you can see the questions that they're asking in that. So it's so important to really think about your customer and your customer's persona, their struggles, their goals, so that you can create content that really connects with that customer. And then they will in turn convert into a real customer. So here's your planning checklist. On one column, I want you to write down your website goals. What is it that you want to happen when people come to your site? In the middle here, I want you to write down, what's your wish list? What does the website of your dreams have in it? What are the abilities that it gives you? Where is it that you want to stay as far as costs? And ideally, it's going to do all of these different things with functionality for you. So what's that wish list? And then last, think of your initial investment. What's that initial investment going to be? But then again, as I mentioned before, this is not going to be a one and done project. You want to keep improving it, making it better. So what does that long-term investment look like? When your website is up for 6 months to a year and it's actually made some money for you, are you ready to invest in it again at that point? So those are some things to consider. And then what are your ongoing maintenance costs? So at the beginning, when I talked about the website basics, we talked about the hosting, the domain name. Those are all going to be costs, ongoing costs. The domain name will probably need to be renewed every year, a couple of years, depending on the plan that you purchase. And the hosting will have to be a monthly fee. So consider those costs. And then as far as the website goes, are you going to be maintaining it yourself, or are you going to hire somebody to maintain it for you? Are you going to do some things yourself and hire some things out? So remember to consider those maintenance costs, budget for them, so that you don't get stuck with a website that's outdated within a year or two, and you really can't use it anymore because you haven't managed it or updated it. So now you're ready. Now you're ready to start creating the website of your dreams that will have high conversions, high traffic, and will properly represent your business and your brand. So I thank you for watching. Again, my name is Edith Duran. I'm with Redesign Marketing. If you need any additional help in planning your website, I do hold one-on-one sessions, and we can just talk through your ideas and help you create that plan for the website of your dreams. Thank you.
Edith, thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time to present today. So, website planning definitely doesn't happen overnight. There's some serious work that goes on behind the scenes. It's critical that you slow down and take the time to map out the information as well as budget and type of website before you start designing. If you're in the early stages of designing your website or just have questions, please join us via Zoom using the link below for a live Q&A. Edith and our team of consultants will be available to answer your questions. And remember, follow BBIF on social media to stay up to date with upcoming webinars.